Welcome back. In the chapter Communication for Health Education, in today's session, we will be discussing about the practice of health education. The practice of health education comprises of the audio-visual aids and also the methods in health communication. Let us begin with audio-visual aids. We know that no health communication can be effective without the use of these audio-visual methods. So, the various audiovisual aids include the auditory aids, visual aids, and combined audiovisual aids. So, auditory, visual, and combined audio visual. Okay, both audio and visual combined together. Let us begin with the auditory aids. The auditory aids include the radio, tape recorders, microphones, earphones. Visual aids are divided into two groups. The visual aids which do not require any projection and visual aids which require the projection. You can see the projector here, which do not require a projection are the charts, boards, posters and flannel graph. So flannel graph is nothing but a background using a khadi cloth or any cardboard will be made, and the cutouts of the pictures will be placed on it, and the demonstration is made to the audience, which is nothing but the flannel graph. The visual aids which require projection include the slides and film strips. You can see the film strips which are put in this some recorder type, which will be inserted in this projector, and this film strips will run, and the pictures will be projected here on the screen. So we see that the visual aids which require projection include the film strips and slides. Combined audio visual aids. In combined audio visual aids, we have televisions, films, that is cinema, and slide tape combination. What do you mean by slide tape combination? So you can see here, these are the slides, and here we have a tape recorder. So this slide strip will be inserted here, and the slide will be demonstrated on the screen. The slide is done, and it is a combination. Synchronizing with this slides, there will be the audio which is played along with it. So the slide and the audio will be synchronizing with each other, and that is how we have slide tape combination. So this was all about the audio visual aids. Let us summarize the audio visual aids, guys. What all did we have? We had auditory aids. Under auditory aids, radio, tape recorder, earphone, microphones. And then visual aids, projection which do not require projection and certain require projection. Who do not require projection include the chalkboard, and we had charts, posters, chalkboard, charts, posters, and flannel graphs. The model specimens also are the visual aids. The models, the specimens, all of these are the visual aids. And the combined audio visual aids, we had television, cinema, and the last one was the slide, the combination, right? The slide and film strips, the slide tape combination. So we had slide and tape combination. So this was all about the audio visual and audio visual combined aids. I hope it's clear. The visual aids which required projection are the slides and the film strips, and the combined is slide tape combination. Do not confuse between these two. It is the visual aid. Okay, this is the visual aid. The slide and film strips are the visual aid. Slide tape combination, which we saw in the picture, synchronous with this slides will be the audio which is played. So we have slide tape combination falling under the combined audio visual aid. So, the methods of health communication. Now we are moving to the second division of the practice of health education, which includes the methods in health communication, which are grouped as we see individual approach, group approach, and mass approach. So, now under each of them, we have subheadings: individual approach, group approach, and mass approach. In individual approach, we have personal contact, home visits, and personal letters. Let us begin with individual approach first. So, we see that in individual approach, there is personal contact, home visits, and also the letters. The personal contact is done by a direct interview. You can see in the picture here, there is a personal interview which is happening between the ASHA worker and that individual. The examples for personal interviews or individual approach could be the consultation room, wherein the doctor has an interview with the patient, or the health centers or the homes of the people. So, the opportunity in case of this individual approach is that the people can exchange their ideas, they can discuss their problems, and also the doctor or the physician or the health worker can persuade, convince, motivate, and argue with the individual to change his or her behavior. By such individual health teaching, we see that the families and individuals can deal very effectively with their health problems. But the responsibility will be on the physician, that he has to gain the confidence of the patient and he has to counsel him properly. Only then it will have a lasting effect on the people. And also, guys, this public health nurses and the health visitors, inspectors, they have a plenty of opportunities for individual health teaching, because they keep visiting hundreds of homes, and that is how their interpersonal communication with the people will have a greater impact, rather than the printed words. The volumes of printed words will have a lesser impact than the interpersonal communication. So, the individual approach, home visits can be done for follow ups, and individual approach is used in HIV counseling, the pre test and post test of HIV counseling. Interpersonal communication is the most persuasive and most effective media for communication. The most effective media for motivating the couples in cases of family planning processes. And also, if there is loss of this interpersonal communication, it can be managed with the help of telecommunication. So these are the MCQs which have appeared in the NEET pre-PG examination. So we see that which is an approach in cases of pre-test and post-test HIV counseling. We have individual approach. The most effective media system for communication is interpersonal communication or individual approach. The most effective method for family planning process is again the interpersonal communication. If there is loss of interpersonal communication, it has to be managed by telecommunication. So this were the MCQs. The underlined part are the MCQs which have appeared in the previous examinations. And now we have completed the individual approach. A summary, guys: individual approach, personal contact, home visits, and personal letters. Also, we can write a personal letter to the individual and express our desired changes, what we want in that individual. So this was about the individual approach. Moving on to the group approach. Our groups, okay, under group approach we have lectures, demonstrations, that is the discuss methods, and seminars, discussion groups, and we have certain rules for it: panel discussion, symposium, and workshop, conferences, seminars, role playing, etc. So we see that we have total of 9 group approaches, beginning with lectures. Regarding the group approach, our society will contain many groups like the industrial workers group, the school children's group, the mothers group, patients group. So, the subject in group teaching is very important. It has to be the concern of the people, and the subject should completely and directly relate to the interest of the people. For example, we can consider if a mother has come for the delivery and I am speaking about the subject of TB control to her, it will be completely unfelt. It's not the felt need at the time. So we have to make sure that the communication, the subject what we are communicating should be based on the interest of the group. We should instead, for the woman who has come for the delivery, I have to talk to her about the childbirth and the baby care rather than speaking about the TB or whatever I want to. So we see that similarly the school children, I cannot speak to them regarding the TB control, HIV, epilepsy or whatever. I have to teach them about the oral hygiene, how to keep their teeth clean, brush twice a day is what I'm supposed to teach. That is the interest of the group of the children. TB patients, I have to speak about tuberculosis. I should not teach them oral hygiene at that moment. And also, the industrial workers should be taught about the accident. So, what do we understand by this? That the group approach, the subject should be the interest of the people. Let us begin with lecture. Lecture is nothing but the chalk and talk method. So we see that lecture can be defined as an oral presentation by a qualified person. In lecture, what happens? A qualified person, a professor or a qualified person is giving a oral talk. Okay, oral talk presentation by a qualified person. So that qualified person will share his ideas and organize the thoughts. And we see that the chalk and talk communication is still a very important in case of small groups education. We also see that the effectiveness of this chalk and talk presentation depends upon the speaker. We know the complete lecture depends upon the speaker, a professor, how he is going to impart the knowledge to us. And also the group should the information is transferred to a large group in a short time. Also guys, in lecture method, the information in a short period, in 30 minutes the information is reaching to 150 members in the classroom. It's an example, okay? So in period of 30 minutes to 1 hour, around 150 people are getting the information. But ideally the group should be less than 30. The group should not contain more than 30 members. It should be 30 or less, and the talk should not exceed 15 to 20 minutes. But in the universities, the lectures are for 1 hour and above. So we see that ideally the group should contain less than 30 members and it should be less than 20 minutes. For a period of 15 to 20 minutes, lecture is ideal. So, the lecture method can be made more effective by combining certain audiovisual aids. Those are flip charts, exhibits, films, flannel graphs, etc. So, we also have the types. We can also include flannel, okay, which we have already dealt. Here, regarding the flip charts, we know that there are series of charts. You can see here there are series of charts, and these series of charts or posters will be around 25 to 30 centimeter. Okay, 25 into 30 centimeter, and they each will contain the illustrations regarding the talk. Each of the poster will have some information or some demonstration or explanation with regards to the talk. Each chart will be displayed before the group and certain talk regarding that information will be given. Then the chart will be changed, and accordingly they keep flipping the charts and flip charts, right? So they keep flipping the chart and they talk about each of the information which is displayed in the chart. We move on to the next thing, that is exhibits. Exhibits are nothing but the objects, models, specimens, etc., which convey some specific message to the viewer. They are very essential mass media of communication because they can be used in group teaching, exhibits. We know in group we go to the museums and exhibitions which are kept in our universities, and in a group we send them, we divide the members of the class into groups, and we send them to observe the specimens, objects, models, and demonstrations are made and taught to them. Next we have films. Films and charts are used to educate the small groups, and it is a mass media of communication. Also, guys, the flannel graphs, we know that in flannel graphs there will be a piece of rough flannel or khadi which is woven on the board. Okay, it will be woven on a wooden board, and that will act as a background, and later the cutout pictures or the drawings will be used for illustration. One advantage of this flannel graph is that the pictures will be pre-arranged in sequence so that the communicator can display each of them and maintain the continuity during his presentation. Also, it is very cheap and easy to transport. So we have seen the picture here, right? The flannel graph, the background which can be made, and the cutouts are placed on it in sequence, and you can demonstrate it in continuity during your presentation. So this was all about the lecture method, where chalk and talk, where the additional audiovisual aids were used, like flip charts, exhibits, films, and flannel graph. What are the advantages we saw? It's economical, and it is very cheap. It covers large groups in the small time, like we saw the lecture method. The large group will be covered in just 1 hour. We can cover, if it is occurring in some auditorium or something, then 300 400 members in same 1 hour we can cover a large group of people in small time. Less preparation and minimum resources are used. Just a PPT presentation, less preparation is required and minimum resources required, but the reach is large. So this was about the lecture method. Now moving on to the seminars and group discussions. So, guys, regarding the seminar, we know that the class is held for an hour or two for small group of students coming together for discussing and learning a specific topic under the guidance of the teacher. So, we know the seminars which are held where we divide the children into groups. We know afternoon seminars. So, the seminars, what happens? We divide the group of people into small groups of students, and they come together for discussing, for learning one specific topic under the guidance of the teacher. We know that we have the groups divided, and each of them will be attending the seminar under the guidance of the teacher. So Monday this group will be attending, group A will be attending, group B on Tuesday, group C on Wednesday. So this is how the seminars are held, where a class is held for hour or 2 hours for a small group of students. Moving on to group discussion. So regarding the group discussions, we see that what is a group? Group is an aggregation of people interacting face to face situation. So there is a face to face situation which is happening in group discussion. It is considered to be a very effective method of health communication. It is because it is permitting or allowing the free exchange of ideas and opinions and knowledge. So we see that group discussions will have a wider interaction among the members comparatively. So, in cases where a long term compliance, where we have to abide by the rules, when we want a long term compliances, like if you want to stop smoking, when there is cessation of smoking, obesity reduction, in such cases, the group discussions can be done, because we know that in group discussions we get a result which we cannot get from one individual member. The result will be so effective and good that if one individual member would give that point, it wouldn't be that effective. So we see that one group leader, so the group discussion will consist of a group leader, one recorder, and the group. So we see that this group, and let us consider red as the leader, one leader, and we have one recorder and the remaining members of the group. The group leader, what is the role of this group leader? The group leader will initiate the topic. He will encourage everybody to participate, and later on he sums up the discussion in the end. So we see that he will encourage people, he will sum up the discussion, complete discussion in the end, and provide a gist of that session. And also he is the one who will initiate the subject. Also he will encourage others to take part. You also. So he encourages others to take part. And we also have a recorder, one recorder in case of group discussion. The recorder will prepare a report on the issues which are being discussed and the agreements which are reached. Also, regarding the group, guys, the group should comprise not less than 6 members and not more than 12 members. So a minimum of 6 to 12 members, a range of 6 to 12. They should not be less than 6 and more than 12. So 6 to 12 members is encouraged. All the participants will be seated in a circle. So you can see all the participants which are seated in a circle. Group members may or may not be known to each other prior. He might not be aware of him, he might not know who is he. So they both could be friends. So they may or may not know about each other. But preferably it is considered, if they know each other, there will be a better understanding and exchange of ideas. So there is a demonstration of a good group discussion and a bad or a dominated group discussion. So you can see here in this picture, what do you think is a good okay, there is some error. End session. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah. So let us see. So the good group discussion, bad group discussion is what we were seeing. In a good group discussion, the discussion will have no limitation on the members. There will be equal participation from all the members of the group. You can see here, one is talking with 2, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. He is communicating with all the members of the group. 3 also is communicating with everyone. 4 also. So each member of the group communicates with all the members of the group. He listens to his ideas, and also gives his ideas to others. That is how a good group discussion, a healthy good group discussion occurs, wherein equal participation from all the members of the group is observed. In case of a dominated group, wherein only certain members of the group who are very dominating will take part, whereas those who are shy may not take part in the discussion. Some will dominate the discussion, those who are shy will not take part. That is how there will be unequal participation of the members in the group discussion. So you can see here the unequal participation. One is participating with 8, 2, 6, 5, 4, 3. He's not only participating with 7, but the rest he is participating. Look at 8, he's only communicating with 1 and 7. No communication with the rest of the group. So we see that the unequal participation from the group members will not lead to the desired result. The shy members may not put up their ideas, the other members might dominate their ideas, and the discussion sometimes could be irrelevant or unprofitable. So with this we understood the group discussion. Moving on to the rules of group discussion. So to get a desired result, there are certain rules of group discussion wherein we have to listen to the others and not interrupt them when they are discussing something or putting their ideas, thoughts or feelings. We have to respect the individual when he is speaking. We should not interrupt him and listen to him. Also, the one who is expressing should express very clearly clearly, and he should have the capacity to accept the criticism. That is, if the people disagree on his point, he has to have the capacity to consider the views which are given by others on his opinion, and also able to accept the criticism or the contradictory things which are told against his topic. Also make relevant remarks and help to reach the conclusion. Also, we should be flexible enough to understand others opinions and ideas, and we have to make sure that we come to a conclusion rather than having a quarrel or discussing only being dominant. We have to make sure that we reach to a conclusion. The pyramidal group discussion, a snowballing method. Pyramidal group discussion wherein two members are divided in pairs, and then they are combined together into a group of fours, and the fours are again combined together to a group of 8. So first we pair in a group of 2. The 2 pair is combined into 4 pair, and the 4 pairs are again combined into 8. So a large group or the whole class will be divided like this. This is the snowballing method and the pyramidal discussion. Okay, pyramidal group discussion. Okay. Now we move on to the next group discussion, that is panel discussion. In a panel discussion, we have 4 to 8 members who are qualified persons sitting and discussing a given problem in front of a large audience. So you can see here in panel discussion, some around 4 to 8 numbers, they are qualified about the topic. They are allowed to sit and discuss about a given problem in front of a large audience. So the panel will comprise of a chairman and also 4 to 8 speakers. So there is a chairman and 4, 2 and 2. Okay, 4 to 8 speakers will be there along with the chairman. In case of panel discussion, chairman and 4 to 8 speakers. Okay, 4 to 8 speakers. So let us see what happens in the chairman, the chairperson or the moderator. What is the role of the chairperson? He will open the meeting, he will welcome the group and also introduce the panel speakers to the audience, and he will also introduce the topic briefly and invite the panel speakers to present their views to the audience. So what he does, he will open the panel discussion, then he will introduce the speakers, speak about the topic, and also we know 4 to 8 qualified people will sit. So it's a two-way discussion here, because after the main aspects of the subjects are spoken by the panel speakers, we also give the audience a chance to invite and take part in the discussion. Once the panels finish giving their views on the topic, then the audience are also required to take part. So there is two-way communication, and there is no specific agenda or no specific order of speaking. Okay, he has to speak. It's not like some seminar where one has to speak, then other, then other, then other. No, instead symposium, sorry, it's not like that. We see that there is no specific agenda, no specific order of speaking, A, B and C. No specific order. If he has views, he can speak, then he has to stop and listen, then he speaks. So there is no specific order of speaking. No set of speeches are seen in cases of panel discussion. After the subject is explored by the panel speakers, audience are also invited to take part. That is how it is a two-way communication. The advantage of this panel discussion, it is very flexible, it is spontaneous. The better understanding of the various aspects can be seen, because a group of members where they can express their ideas flexibly without any restrictions. There is no order. It's like anytime they have the opportunity to open up and present their opinions. So this was about the panel discussion. I hope it's clear, guys. Let us revise. Individual approach, what did we see? Personal contact, home visit, and the personal letters also combine and fall under this. Okay, contact, home visit and letters. This was about the individual approach. Moving on to the group approach, we have lectures, seminars, group discussion and panel discussion. What did we see? Lectures, seminars, group discussions, panel discussions. So this was about the panel discussion. So we've seen the group discussion and panel discussion. Let us move on to symposium. So what is the difference, main difference between symposium and panel discussion? In symposium, we have series of speeches in specific order. There is series of speeches or lectures on a specific subject. And also there is no discussion among the symposium members. We see that in symposium a person comes, gives his views, followed by the other person, he gives his topic, he explains his topic to the audience. So there is a series of speeches which are happening, and there is no discussion happening between the speakers. Whereas in cases of panel discussion, we saw that there was no specific order of speeches, and also the panel discussion can occur, the audience can also take part, plus the speakers can interact with each other. Interaction was permitted in panel, and in cases of symposium the interaction between the speakers is not allowed. It doesn't actually occur. Okay, because individual, each expert will come on to the dais and and he will present an aspect on the subject briefly. There is no discussion happening among the symposium members. In the end, the audience may raise the questions. So we see that in symposium there is no discussion among the symposium members like in panel discussion, and in the end, lastly, the audience are given an opportunity to raise the questions. The chairman in the end will make a summary of the entire session. It's a good tool for integrated teaching. So this was all about the symposium. There is no MCQ question in symposium. In panel discussion, we had a few MCQ questions. Moving on to conferences and workshops. So we have studied about seminars previously, guys. So what is a conference now? A conference could be held on a regional level, state level, and a national level. The conferences could be half a day, and they can run up to 1 week in length. So we see that they range from half a day to 1 week. They usually use a variety of formats for the aid of learning process. From the self instructions to multimedia can be used in cases of conferences. They can play the videos. Now in cases of when they are going to present their journey, they will bring in the patients. So we have the patients videos, the slides preparations, reports which are shown, and we have audios which are sent by the patient. So all of those which are used, the mass media will be used in cases of conferences. It can be held in regional level, state level, and national level. And in case of conference, they cover the single topic in depth. Okay, and we have next workshops. So what is workshop will consist of series of meetings. It doesn't occur in one sitting or one go. There are series of meetings which are usually comprising of 4 or more meetings, and the emphasis in cases of workshop is to learn a skill individually with the help of the consultant and resources personnel. So in workshops, they teach skills, right? Skills to an individual person. In workshop, individual person will be learning the skills with the help of the consultant or the resource personnel. The disadvantage is that in for the workshop we require a lot of baseline groundwork, whereas in cases of the conferences and we saw the other group discussions wherein little preparation was required, whereas in workshops the baseline groundwork has to be a lot of efforts have to be put in. So this was about the workshop, where series of meetings will occur where an individual skill is improved with the help of the source personnel. And also, one positive thing in workshop is that the learning can take place in a very friendly, happy, and democratic atmosphere. under the expert's guidance, it can be very friendly. The individual can work and solve a part of a problem through their efforts, and with the help of the consultants, they can contribute to the group discussion, and they can bring in a plan of action to the problem. So, to bring in the solutions for certain problems, we held workshops so the people can learn the skills to solve their own problems. So it is very effective in improving the professional workers. So the workshops are done for the professional workers as well. So this was about the workshops. Moving on to role playing or social drama. So it is based on the assumption that the values in a situation, they just cannot be expressed in words. The situations and the values, they just cannot be expressed in words. Words will not suffice. So when it is dramatized by a group of people, then the people can actually relate to it. The group members, they take part in social drama, they start to enact the roles as they have been experiencing them, or what they have observed. Then the audience will be concerned with the drama, they will show some sympathetic attention to what is going on. So we see that the active participation by the audience is observed, and by demonstrating a particular role, they can influence a lot of people. Role playing is a very useful technique in providing the discussion of the problems of the human relationships. So, to solve the problems of human relationships, we can do the role playing, like regarding in rural areas, the female feticides and all. A role play can be done, showing like how the mother feels and what the infant goes through, the baby, the fetus, and everything. So, all such thing when you demonstrate in a role play, it will reach the audience. It will have a deeper touch on the audience, and they will sympathize and learn with the role play. So it is we see that it is having an advantage of discussing the social problems, human relationships, and also an educational tool for the school children. Okay, this was regarding the role play. So the ideal size of the group is 25. Very important. The role play, the group is of 25 members. So there is an MCQ. Role play is a type of group discussion. So role play comes under group discussion. Okay, we had three things: individual approach, group approach, and mass approach. And role play falls under group approach. It's not mass media, it falls under the group approach. Okay, role play is a group discussion. Moving on to demonstrations. So we see that a demonstration is wherein a carefully prepared presentation is done to show the people to perform a skill or a procedure. The planned presentation where we show the people how to perform a procedure, and the demonstration will be carried out step by step before the audience or the target group. We perform the procedure step by step. The demonstrator will ascertain the audience to understand it how to perform. So this, the principle of demonstration is learning by doing. So we know that when we do it, we learn it. So they have given an example of preparation of oral rehydration solution. So you're demonstrating the audience to take a clean drinking water of 4 cups, mix half spoon of salt, then add sugar to it, 6 spoons, half salt, 6 spoons of sugar, mix it, stir it. And when you teach them and give them the materials to perform the procedure, then they will learn by doing it. The best method of teaching in cases of urban slums, because just words and the words won't suffice. We have to demonstrate them so that they can understand it better. Also, we see that examples of demonstrations include the disinfection of the wells and oral rehydration solution preparations. So this was about the demonstration. Also the installation of the hand pumps, construction of the sanitary latrines, mother and child health care, the control of the diseases like scabies. In all these cases, demonstration is found to have a very high educational value. So now we move on to the next thing, that is colloquy. It involves the number of sessions. The sessions are many in number. Sessions are multiple sessions will be there. Each session will be made to find answers to a question. So there will be a question, and under each session the answer to this question will be found. After the multiple sessions, we come to a final conclusion. In charge is interlocutor. So we know about colloquy, where multiple sessions are done and each session we find an answer, and after multiple sessions we come to a conclusion. So the last we move on to the mass approach. Before going to the mass approach, let us summarize what we have studied so far. We have individual approach, personal contact, home visit, personal letters. Okay, letters. So this was about the individual approach: contact, home visit, and letters. Group discussion. I hope you guys are getting all of those points. But then let us summarize now. Each of them start putting. So first one is lecture. Followed by lecture, we have seminar, group discussion, and panel discussion. So far, seminar, lectures, seminar, group discussion, panel discussion. Okay, lectures, seminars, group discussion, panel discussion, followed by symposium and conferences, workshop. Fifth one is symposium, conference, workshop, role playing, demonstration. Role playing and demonstration, total 9 we have. I hope you guys are clear and you have all of the points on your mind. What are those, guys? Lectures, demonstrations, group discussion, panel discussion, symposium, workshop, conference, seminars, and role play. So this was about the group approach. Now we move on to the last approach, that is mass approach. In mass approach, we have televisions, radios, internets, newspaper, printed material, direct mailing, posters, and folk media. Beginning with television. Television is the most popular of all the media for mass communication. So we know that up until 1920s, this mass communication depended upon the posters, books, newspapers. But then came the radio, followed by the television. First there was newspaper. First we had newspapers, then we had radios, and lastly televisions. So the most popular of all media is the television, where it is very effective in creating the awareness. It influences the public opinions. But TV is only a one-way channel. It can be an aid of teaching, and also it can cover the areas of learning. It has much potential in health communication. Then we also have radio, where in the developing countries, radio has a broader audience. Radios will have a broader audience, and it also can reach the illiterate people who do not have an access for the printed words like newspapers and magazines and posters. So in such cases where the illiterate population is prominent, the radios will play a major role in reaching the audience, and the doctors and health workers may speak on the radio and discuss the topics and give awareness regarding the health. And we move on to internet. We know internet is one of the fast growing communication media of today. The vast amount of health related literatures are found on the media, on the internet. We have their websites where the family welfare government of India websites, wherein the health related information can be found. And also we see that it has a vast capacity to transfer the knowledge to millions of people by direct, and also we get instant communication by the audience by means of email or online chatting. By that we get a instant response from the community, and also a large number of people can be approached with this internet using this media. Okay, we move on to the next mass media, that is newspapers. They are most widely disseminated. For form of all the media, the most widely disseminated is the newspapers. Newspapers can reach the places where the TVs and radios are not found. It is a new, it's a worthy news, should be a newsworthy. Okay, it should be trustworthy and newsworthy before it is printed. So we have to make sure that the news is very authentic, because it is reaching a large population. Whereas many people have now turned to radio and televisions for entertainment, news readers are often seeking newspapers, but we see that it is very factual and statistical material. The health is given a very small importance in cases of newspaper. Health education is not given a lot of encouragement from the newspapers. So they have a limitation, because there is low readership in rural areas in cases of literacy. Since 25% of the Indian populations are illiterates and more than 70% reside in rural areas, the newspapers, even though they reach them, because of the illiteracy, they are not reading them. Printed materials. The printed materials are the magazine, pamphlets, booklets, and hangouts. So they have long been used in cases of health communication. The magazines, the booklets, their usefulness lies in the fact that they can convey the detailed information to the people. The printed material, the booklet or the pamphlet, they can convey a detailed information. We know we get pamphlets in all the hospitals, they are available. We keep pamphlets for the people to understand one particular disease in detail, beginning from the simplest layman language. We distribute the pamphlets so that they can understand beautifully the disease, and that is how it has been helpful in conveying a detailed information to the audience. Moving on to the direct mailing. This is a kind of new innovation which is seen in health education in India. The intention of this direct mailing is to reach the remote areas of the country where the printed words like the newsletters, booklets, they cannot reach, the folders and newsletters cannot reach. So we send the direct information regarding the family planning, immunization, nutrition by the direct mailing. They can be sent directly to the village leaders or the panchayat heads, local bodies who are considerate about the opinion. So we can consider their opinion and also send the direct mailing. And this has been a very successful mass media in creating the public awareness in the people. Moving on to the posters, signs, billboards. So the posters have to be placed at the sites where people have some time to spend, like the bus stops, railway station, hospitals, where the people will have certain time. Now the till the bus arrives, they will be sitting at the bus station waiting for the bus to arrive. During that time, or the railway station waiting for the train to arrive. In such places, when those posters are put, people will have some time to look on the poster and then read it out and get the information. So, our main intention is to catch the eye and to create the awareness. So, the poster, the communication should be very simple and artistic. The poster should not be very expensive, and they have to reach a large number of people. So, we see that the streets, the posters will be found on the streets, which are very short, they are simple and direct. Just at one glance, it is very easy to understand things immediately. So, in cases of epidemics of viral hepatitis, there should be posters displayed on the viral jaundice and not on the cholera. So, we see that when a certain disease is going on, if it is viral hepatitis, the poster regarding the viral jaundice have to be placed everywhere so that people get the awareness regarding the disease. Irrelevant, unfelt things should not be posted. Also we see that they have a very less effect in changing the behavior, because it's just one glance, and there's no much motivational effect or deeper effect on the individuals. Lastly, we have the folk media. Before folk media, there's something else I want you to know, that is the exhibitions which are held and the museums. They also attract a large number of the people, because those photographic panels which are kept, they will attract more and more people to get in touch and get awareness regarding the health. And the lastly, we have folk medias, that is drama, puppet shows, and in India, kirtana, katha, folk dances are seen. And the Muslims will have their own traditional folk like ghazals and qawwali. So this was all about the mass medias. I hope you guys have understood it. The advantages and disadvantages is that it is based on the local needs of the people. Okay, the advantage, it's based on the local needs. It reaches a wider population in short time, so it gets a lot of public attention. It is useful to transmit the message in remote areas. We know we send the direct mailing, the newspapers, and all such things are reaching the remote areas. The radio, the information is reaching the rural and remote areas. It is more influential in average and below average educated people. So the advantage of this mass media is that it is influencing the average educated people. Imagine a symposium or a panel discussion where it's not there will be a language barrier, there will be comprehension difficulties, the people cannot understand what is being discussed. But in cases of mass media, where it is very simple and more influencing the people who are below average educated people and average educated people. What is the disadvantage is that it is a one way communication. Now on television something is shown, but the audience have no opportunity to question back or clear doubts or place their thoughts and views. There is no such opportunity. It is just a one way communication. Also distorted information. Now there is a role play. The audience sees something, they understand something, and they go and explain others something else. So there could be a distorted information which is reaching the other people. It is not effective in changing the established behavior. We know that it is the mass media, it's not effective to change the established behavior, whereas the individual approach, where face to face communication and interaction, the interpersonal communication will have a greater impact on the people. So this was about the advantages and disadvantages of the communication. So we see that mass media communication, there are MCQs which have been asked. What is the advantage? It reaches the wider population in short time, so it gets a lot of public attention. It is more influential in average and below average educated people. And the disadvantage is that distorted information and one way communication is observed. So this was all about the methods of communication. So let us summarize them. So we had individual approach and group approach and mass approach. Individual approach, group approach, and mass approach. Under individual approach, we see that we had personal contact and home visits and the letters, right? So this was about the individual approach. In the group approach, there were lectures, demonstrations. In discussions, group discussions, group discussions, symposium, panel discussion, conference, workshop, seminar, role play. In the mass media, we have TV, radio, newspaper, printed material, newspapers, printed materials, and museums, folk media, internet, and so on. So this was all about the methods of the health communication, which we saw: mass approach, TV, internet, newspaper, printed material, direct mailing, posters, and folk media. And the most popular of all media for mass communication is television, the MCQ. And demonstrations, ORS, falls under the demonstration method. And the role play is a type of group discussion. And the workshop, there is a series of meetings which are 4 or more. And other MCQ questions are seen in panel discussion, where the qualified speakers will sit and discuss a given problem in front of a large audience. It is a two-way discussion. There is no specific order of speaking, there is no set of speeches, and the audience are also invited to take part in the discussion. In the group discussion, it allows a free exchange of ideas and opinion. It is an effective method to change the health behavior and attitudes. The group leader will initiate the subject, and the group will consist of 6 to 12 members. All the participants will be seated in a circle. The group members may or may not be known to each other. All of this is group discussion. The most effective method to change the health behavior and attitude is group discussion. It allows the free exchange of ideas and opinions, and it is a participants are placed in circle, and the members may or may not know each other. Next lecture, we saw an individual approach, the most effective media system for communication. In motivating couples for family planning purposes, we have interpersonal communication, and if there is loss of interpersonal communication, it has to be managed by telecommunication. And also in the audiovisual aids, the flannel graphs falls under the visual aid. Okay, and the combined audiovisual aids are the TV, cinemas, and slide tape combination. So this was all about the practice of health education. I hope everything is clear. If you like my video, hit the like button and subscribe, and if you have any doubts, put it in the comment section. Thank you.